morning, football fans. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Friday Night Varsity Preview. I'm Rachel George, joined by sports editor Dan Spears. If Aaron's doing his job right, we should look a little different, a little spooky this time around. Certainly nothing spooky about the games. We've got some great ones on tap for this week, second to last week of the regular season. Your game of the week, Dan.
Game of the week is Ashley and Hoggard this week. Hoggard pulled one out on the road up at Rose last week, scored the last 16 points of the game in the fourth quarter. Ashley picked up its first conference win of the year. And Dylan Dimmick is involved again. He's back. Hoggard assistant coach, former Ashley coach, the only coach at Ashley there until this season. He faces his former team. I'm sure that there are a lot of emotions and familiarity involved. I think it'll make for a very good game. Ashley's played a lot better this year. Now can they show their old coach what they've learned under the new coach?
That's right.
Should be a good one.
And definitely, I know we've been talking about it in the office, Hoggard playing better, has gotten better as the season has gone on, went 2-4 non-conference, but are now over 500, so they've definitely improved and could be going into the final week of the season undefeated in the conference. We
kind of wrote them off, and they got healthy. We did talk about that a couple weeks ago. They got healthy, and they've played a lot better since then. They've done what they needed to do, and good for them, and good for them to keep everybody honest. And now they're one win away from playing Hanover for all the marbles again. And at that point, they've really got to like where they are.
That's right. Well, my game of the week, we'll switch over to the Tri-County, and you were a little surprised I picked this one. It is not the best game. I will say that. Wallace Hill is at Union. I picked it because of what it means. The Bulldogs go into this game 7-2 overall, 5-0 in the Tri-County Conference. They just got into the top 10 poll. They're ranked 9th in the state.
About time, people.
Thank you for listening to my frustration on that. They've come a long, long way. Last year they went 2-10, started the season with 2 wins, one of them a little fluky over Clinton in a rain-out game, lost the final 10, so they were really, kind of in disarray after last season. They hired Joey Price, bring him in, and they've immediately turned this program back around to what they're used to. Won their last 5 games. They're winning by an average of 3 touchdowns in their games. Last week I was at their game at Trask. Over 500 yards of offense. They've got, I counted, they used 14 running backs in that game. So they've got running backs more than they can use, and that is a good team. If Wallace wins, it can lock up at least a share of the conference title. If Wallace wins and James Keenan loses, it's theirs because they have the tiebreaker with Pender, who is also a game back. So definitely a big game for the Bulldogs.
Normally, you'd be worried about a letdown in a game like this after playing Pender and Trask, 2 local rivals in back-to-back games. This is not a big rivalry for them, but I don't think that that's going to be an issue here. I think that they're going to go out and clobber Union like they should. Pender put up 63 points on this team last week.
Right.
I think they'll take care of this pretty easily and go on to play James Keenan in the rivalry game that will mean something again. And I think everybody in Duplin County likes that. Yeah,
and talking to Joey Price after last week's game, Union is 2-7 overall, 1-4 in the conference. Did forfeit 2 wins early in the season because of eligibility, and he says, we're not overlooking them. They have athletes. This is going to be a tough game. We know we need to work to get that 8th win, which is what they're shooting for. So I guess we'll see how well they do this week. Let's take a look at the rest of the games on the schedule. As Dan mentioned, Ashley is at Hoggard. Also in the Mid-Eastern, Laney is at New Bern. Rose is at New Hanover. The Wildcats trying to stay perfect and go into the final week.
I think they will. Rose is starting to get banged up. Their offense is really struggling. I think you said they're on their 4th quarterback now for the season. And against Hanover, you've got to have a quarterback. Otherwise, you are in trouble. They should
You are not running.
No, you will not.
No. In the Waccamaw, South Brunswick is at East Bladen. The Eagles can clinch the conference title with a win in that game. South Columbus is at Whiteville. Big rivalry a week early. West Bladen is at West Brunswick. Over in the Tri-County, Hopton is at James Keenan. Tigers need to win to still be in contention next week for a title. Pender is at Lakewood. Wallace at Union, and Trask at Midway.
Trask, they can right the ship with this game. They lost a tough one to Wallace, a bad one to Wallace, and then they lost the week before to Lakewood, I believe, in a 9-6 game. They need this one bad to get their confidence back and have a shot at the playoffs, which would be a good thing for Glenn Sellers in that program.
Absolutely. Over in the Three Rivers, West Columbus is at St. Paul's. Fairmont at East Columbus. Gators in the hunt for their first ever conference title. In the East Central, Northside is at Topsail. East Duplin can clinch an East Central title with a win at Richlands on Friday. In other games, Ravenscroft is at Harrell's Christian and Southwest Onslow is at Dixon. Well, that's it for us this week. Be sure to check back on Saturday as we recap all of Friday night's games. But this week, for Dan Spears and myself, Rachel George, this has been Friday Night Varsity Preview on StarNewsOnline.com.